A very good morning to you. Now, we know that you've been campaigning against fuel price hikes. You've made many calls over the past couple of months and year, I think, about fuel price increases. This latest one, I mean, we knew that there was going to be an increase, but what about it makes you as unhappy as you are this morning?
The fact that we got the information so late, I mean, we could not prepare our members or even the motorists in the country. They could not be prepared and possibly go out yesterday and fill up their tanks. The information came through so late yesterday afternoon. In fact, all indications were that there would not be such a significant increase. We thought that just with the introduction of carbon tax, there would really be no real hike, just a marginal decrease at best or no hike at worst. So it came as a total shock to all of us that petrol is now going up by 9 cents and diesel by 33 cents, paraffin by 8 cents. Now, we need to remind ourselves that diesel is a very important commodity. 70% of goods in South Africa are transported by road, and they rely on vehicles that transport goods in the country rely on diesel. The farmers use vehicles that use diesel to transport their crops. Now, with this latest increase, I can bet my bottom dollar that the price of food, the price of basic essentials in the country is going to go up. The most important thing yesterday, we learned that the ANC said that we have a crisis insofar as unemployment is concerned. How do we expect young people and unemployed people to take a bus or a taxi knowing that the price, the transport costs are going to be going up? The point where they're unemployed, how are they going to afford this? It's just going to add to the problem.
Often we hear that these are factors beyond our control, that a lot of it depends on what's happening internationally with crude oil prices, etc., etc. But just picking up bits and pieces about conversations about diesel in particular, and you're stressing the importance of diesel. My understanding is that we don't necessarily have to raise the price of diesel the way we do. That is something that is not regulated in the same way as petrol is. So could it be avoided? Could those increases in diesel be avoided or not be as much as they are?
Let me explain. The slate levy, which is the carbon tax, is 13.16 cents per litre. So the 33 cents on the diesel, I just do not understand where it's coming from. Our appeal to the government would be that the Department of Energy must consult with stakeholders involved in the fuel industry and lobby groups like ourselves before these increases are passed on. Otherwise, they're going to face the anger of motorists and the general public at large. These increases, especially on diesel, we cannot understand, who in their right minds would increase diesel costs by 33 cents per litre. And do you know the impact this is going to have, the negative impact this is going to have on our economy? It's shocking. The important thing is I need to mention that 39% of what we pay at the pumps currently goes towards taxes and levies. Now you're adding a carbon tax on top of that. It means that we're going to be paying more than 40% on taxes and levies. Now, I believe that we're bracing ourselves for serious problems. But to the motorists out there, it's important that we need to start using our vehicles less. The problem in the country is we're in a catch-22 situation. Our public transport is not the best in the world. It's not safe either. So we're literally forced to use our vehicles. So we need to find ways to mitigate against this by possibly traveling in groups, idling less, driving at reasonable paces in town, etc., going gentle on your accelerator, driving slower, anticipate the traffic and avoid traffic. Also avoid roof racks on your cars, check your tire pressures regularly, look after your car, make sure it's not using too much of petrol, keep a record of the fuel that you're using. These are the inconveniences that we are subject to simply because there are someone there in the government is not prepared to sit down and talk, sit down and negotiate. We've got proposals that says remove the taxes, and we know how to recover the revenue. It's through the introduction of a wealth tax, on companies listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. We are insistent on that. But the way forward is our organization, People Against Petroleum Price Increases, we had a meeting last night, and we decided that we believe that every South African needs to take up this fight. You know, in this country, it's the wheel that squeaks the loudest that gets the grease.
Okay.
So it's time that we started making a big noise about this. Every organization, whether you are a union, you belong to a union, whether you belong to a political party, whether you belong to a little church group or a school governing body or whatever organization it is, civic bodies, sporting bodies, go there and start speaking about how we can mobilize support, get together, join our lobby group, and let's start shaking this government and shaking this country to the point where it will start to go down on its knees and do what happened in France.
Okay.
The yellow...
Visvin, we'll have to leave it there for now. And I think people out there do get the message of what needs to be done. Unfortunately, I don't think that the situation is going to ease much for consumers anytime soon. Visvin Reddy from People Against Petrol and Paraffin Increases. Yet another call for South Africans to make their unhappiness heard, I think, about the fuel price increases.